Hi, I am Dr. P.R. Padma, Professor in the Department of Biochemistry, Biotechnology and Bioinformatics in the Avinachalingam University for Women at Coimbatore. You have now chosen to do the lesson on the applications of transgenic plants in food technology and nutrition. In the earlier module, we have considered the methods that are used in the insertion of genes from various species into plants. In this module, let us consider the major applications of the transgenic plants in the fields of food science, nutrition and food technology. This module aims to introduce you to the major applications and success stories of transgenic changes in plants that include the ability to withstand stress conditions, improved nutritional quality of the plant products used as food, increased keeping quality of the plant based food and the production of pharmaceuticals using plants. To give an overview, this module deals with the applications of genetically modified or transgenic plants and their products in food science, nutrition and food technology. Transgenesis has helped the food industry in several ways. Let us consider them under different heads, broadly dealing with applications that improve the yield of crop plants by achieving resistance to biotic and abiotic stress conditions, improve the nutritional content or nutritional quality of the crop, improve the shelf life or keeping quality of the produce of the plants and the use of crop plants as bioreactors to produce pharmaceuticals and other commercially valuable products. While some of these applications covered in this module are still awaiting clearance by the governments of different countries, several of them have already been cleared and are widely cultivated worldwide. We shall now consider the major applications of transgenic plants in these domains. Let us first take up the applications that improve the yield of crop plants by achieving resistance to various stress conditions. The yield of the crop plants can be drastically affected by several factors and conditions. The major ones include pest or insect attack, overgrowth of weeds that interfere with the nutritional availability for plant growth, attack by viral or other microbial pathogens and physicochemical stress conditions like drought and increased salinity in soil. Of these, the first three categories are considered as biotic stresses as they are caused by living organisms, and the fourth category is an abiotic stress. These issues have been addressed by transgenic approaches. We will now consider how this has been done. The first category is to deal with the pest or insect attack. Huge losses are incurred by farmers by the attack of plants in the field by insect pests. Further losses are incurred in the post harvest stage also by insect and rodent attacks. Transgenic approaches are directed towards the pre-harvest stage, that is, when the plants are still growing in the field. In order to curb the insect attack, a gene from a bacterium called Bacillus thuringiensis has been transferred and expressed in crop plants. This gene is popularly called the Bt gene for Bacillus thuringiensis gene. The entire plasmid from the bacterium is not used for the transgenesis. Only a specific portion of the gene called the Cry gene, which codes for a crystalline product, is used for transgenesis. The transgenic plant, which is transferred with Bt gene, introduces or produces the protein product that is coded by this gene, and this product is called the Cry protein. When the insect pest feeds on the plant, the gry protein will interfere with the absorption of food from the gut of the insect, and the insect is unable to eat and is killed. Thus, the plants are saved and are able to give the full produce. The Bt gene has been introduced into several plants. Bt cotton is the most popular of the lot. Among the crop plants, corn or maize and potato have been the hot favorites and have been developed as transgenics with the Bt gene. These plants have been cleared in the field trials and are being cultivated successfully in several parts of the world. This is a photograph of a field in the United States where the transgenic maize is being grown. A company named Monsanto has developed a pest resistant soybean variety by transgenesis of cry genes of Bacillus thuringiensis, which has been cleared for cultivation and use by both the US and the Brazilian governments. Now, let us consider the next category of transgenic applications, namely dealing with the overgrowth of weeds that interfere with the nutrient availability to crop plants for growth. In the fields where the crop plants are growing, the fertile soil and the conducive conditions help the weeds also to grow. Many a times, the weeds which are sturdy plants flourish so well that they outgrow the crop plants and compete with the crop plants for the available nutrients, available space and all other resources. This affects the growth and yield of the crop plant. Spraying or application of herbicide is very effective in killing the weeds. But unfortunately, the herbicides do not discriminate between the plants that are the weeds and the plants that are the crops. This results in many crop plants also dying because of the herbicide spray. In very large areas of cultivation, manual removal of the weeds are also not possible or is very cumbersome and is impractical. The technology of transgenesis has provided a means of circumventing this problem. The crop plants have been transferred with a set of genes that can metabolize or chop up the herbicide molecules, thereby making it ineffective. Most commonly, the herbicide that is used is a compound named glyphosate. Thus, when the field is applied with the herbicide, the weeds which do not contain these genes to metabolize glyphosate are killed, while the crop plants survive. This results in a very good yield of the crops that are made. The Roundup Ready soybean, developed by a company called Monsanto, is an example of the transgenic plant that can deal with the herbicide named Roundup. Following this success, Monsanto has also made Roundup Ready alfalfa, Roundup Ready corn, spring canola, winter canola and sugar beets. Other commercial organizations have also made their share of transgenic plants that are resistant to herbicide spray. This picture displayed here are fields where canola plants and soybean plants are growing after spraying with herbicides. Now, let us move on to the third issue that we will consider under transgenic application, namely the resisting the attack of the crops by viral pathogens and other microbial pathogens. Blight disease, root rot diseases and such diseases are caused due to microbial pathogens, namely bacteria and viruses. These attacks not only affect the yield, but also have a negative influence on the appearance of the product, and in a worse situation, they can also leave toxic compounds in the fruits and vegetables that the plants produce. This situation has also been dealt with by transferring the genes that are responsible for conferring viral and bacterial resistance to plants. A transgenic potato has been developed to confer resistance to a viral pathogen which is shown in the picture here along with the plants infected with the virus. You can see the stark difference between the two. This transgenesis is also cleared for cultivation. Some of the other plants that have been conferred with resistance to viral pathogenic attacks by the transfer of appropriate genes include the Hawaiian papaya, which has developed resistance to papaya ring spot virus, new leaf potato, which has been conferred with the resistance to potato virus Y, zucchini with resistance to yellow mosaic virus, and sweet peppers, which have been conferred with resistance to cucumber mosaic virus. Apart from the biotic stresses that we have discussed here, plants also face a variety of abiotic stress conditions like drought, that is unavailability or availability of water in very less amounts, and increased salinity in soil. Let us now see how these conditions are tackled by transgenesis. Drought conditions are often encountered by farmers where there is unexpected failure of monsoon or inadequacy of monsoon. Plants, as we all know, require adequate and regular supply of water apart from sunlight, nutrients and other such conditions. When the water supply is inadequate and irregular, it has a toll on the growth and yield of the plants. Thus, ensuring that plants are able to survive in low water conditions by conferring the ability to withstand these drought conditions is a very desirable trait and has been the pursuit of many genetic engineers for years together. Scientists have now successfully addressed drought resistance by transgenic approaches. The initial approaches to achieve tolerance to water scarcity was by interfering with an abscisic acid metabolism. This approach, while achieving tolerance, slowed down the growth of the plant in a phenomenon called yield drag. Later, antisense RNA technology, wherein a nucleotide sequence complementary to the RNA coding for the gene to be silenced, was introduced and was successfully used in silencing the ERA1 gene involved in abscisic acid metabolism. This resulted in successful drought resistant crops without the yield drag. These studies were done on Arabidopsis thaliana plants and canola or rapeseed plants. Following the success of this approach, a Canadian biotechnology company called Performance Plant Incorporation has made several approaches to achieve drought tolerance in maize and soybean among crop plants and also in other plant varieties like cotton, ornamental plants and turf grass. Other drought resistant varieties that do not involve abscisic acid pathway, but induce the stress response genes by overexpressing transcription factors like DREB1 and DREB2 by transgenesis have had more success, as this approach makes the plants not only drought tolerant, but also salt and cold tolerant. The crop plants that have been successfully created with these approaches include Monsanto's GM drought tolerant corn, which is called Drought Guard, and wheat. Drought tolerance has also been achieved in rice and maize by overexpressing genes for trehalose accumulation and choline dehydrogenase respectively. Geographical areas like the coastal belt and arid and semi-arid regions have a high salt content in the soil. This is unsuitable for the cultivation of several crops. Such crops are grown in areas far away from the coastal or arid areas, and the produce is transported to these areas for consumption. This involves huge transport expenses. Additionally, there will be loss during storage and transport of the crop produce. This expense can be avoided if the plants can be equipped with the ability to withstand the salt stress and can be grown in the soil containing high salt content. Again, this has been achieved by transgenic approaches. As mentioned earlier, the overexpression of DREB1 and DREB2 as well as trehalose accumulation have created transgenic corn, maize, wheat and rice that are tolerant to the salinity stress. Thus, plants have been equipped with the ability to withstand many types of biotic and abiotic stress conditions by transgenesis. Now, we shall deal with the application of transgenesis in plants that improve the nutritional content or nutritional quality of the crop. Transgenic approaches in food technology have mainly concentrated on improving the nutritional quality of the food crops. Of particular interest is rice, as this is the major staple food for more than 75% of the world's population and is widely grown all over the world. One of the major transgenic breakthroughs achieved with rice transgenics is the development of golden rice. Golden rice is the name given to the rice into which the genes coding for the enzymes involved in the synthesis of beta carotene, which is the precursor of vitamin A, have been introduced. The expression of these genes in the rice results in the biosynthesis of beta carotene, which is normally not produced by rice, which gives a deep yellow color to the rice and hence the name golden rice. This rice is expected to address vitamin A deficiency all over the world. Similarly, in another attempt of transgenesis in rice, the iron content was enriched with view of dealing with iron deficiency anemia. Improvement in the oil profile of soybean has been achieved by transgenesis for better processing and healthier eating. Similarly, the canola plants have been genetically modified to produce and accumulate high levels of oil that is similar in health value to fish oil. A South African corn variety named N37W contains genetic modifications for multiple vitamin enrichment, resulting in about 170-fold increase in vitamin A, 6-fold increase in vitamin C and double the normal concentration of folic acid. Cavendish bananas have also been modified to produce a 10-fold increased amount of vitamin A. Normally cultivated cassava varieties contain a group of toxic compounds called cyanogen glucosides. These interfere with the digestion and nutrient availability, especially of that of proteins. A genetically modified cassava called bio-cassava has been developed by scientists in which the levels of these cyanogen glycosides were lower and the protein and nutrient availability was higher. Similarly, when the starch-rich potato is fried, sizable amounts of acrylamide, which is a neurotoxin, is produced. To counter this, a company named J.R. Simplot Company developed a transgenic potato that produces less acrylamide when fried to produce potato chips as well as French fries. To achieve this, even though genetic modifications were done, no non-potato genes were used. In fact, no external genes were inserted, but still these are transgenic because a technique called RNA interference, which silences specific genes expression by cutting up the corresponding mRNA, was used to achieve the desired state of less acrylamide production. This potato was approved for use by the USDA in November 2014. Thus, the plant transgenesis has brought in several successful traits of improving the nutritional quality. Let us now move on to the applications that improve the shelf life or keeping quality of the produce of plants. Increase in the shelf life of the food products will definitely result in lesser losses of the perishable items. This issue has been a hot favorite of several transgenic researchers. In fact, the first genetically modified crop that was approved for sale and use in the United States in 1994 was a tomato called Flavor Saver tomato. In this transgenesis, an antisense RNA to the gene coding for the enzyme ACC synthase, which is involved in the synthesis of ethylene, which is usually responsible for fruit ripening, was inserted. This resulted in the downregulation of ethylene synthesis, thus delaying the ripening process of the fruits and increasing the keeping quality of the tomatoes. Since this also resulted in increased accumulation of sugars and acids in the fruit, causing an enhancement in the flavor of the tomato, the transgenic tomato was named Flavor Saver tomato. Similarly, another transgenic tomato was developed using antisense RNA technique for polygalacturonase genes. Polymers of galacturonic acid, like pectin, are present in raw fruits and are responsible for the firmness of the raw fruit. During ripening, these polymers are broken down by enzymes like polygalacturonase and the fruit becomes soft. Thus, blocking this enzyme delays the process of ripening and increases the shelf life of the tomato. Though this was the first transgenic food product to reach the market, it has been subsequently taken off the shelves by the US government. However, other transgenic tomato varieties involving a similar strategy have been developed. Very recently, in February 2015, transgenic apples with a reduced expression of an enzyme called polyphenol oxidase, PPO for short, has been approved for sale in the United States. PPO is responsible for the enzymic browning when apples are cut. Reduction in the expression of this enzyme will prevent the apples from browning for a long time after being cut, thus increasing its keeping quality. The strategy used for this was also gene silencing. In November 2014, a genetically modified potato variety that prevents bruising was approved by the US Department of Agriculture. This potato is termed Amflora potato, which is shown in this photograph. Apart from the applications that we have discussed thus far, which have a direct bearing on the nutritional aspects, transgenesis also has led to several applications that use the crop plants as bioreactors to produce pharmaceuticals and other commercially valuable products. Let us now consider some of these applications. Several transgenic researchers have been successfully carried out to incorporate the plants with the ability to synthesize commercially valuable products, including drugs, biofuels, biodegradable plastics, oils for detergent production, and so on. Though this has no direct bearing on nutrition, it is prudent to complete this topic by including these transgenic attempts because the plants used in many such cases have been crop plants. We shall now list the major developments in this area. Plants have been developed to produce drugs against Gaucher's disease, which has also earned the approval of FDA in 2012. Tobacco plants and bananas have been modified to produce therapeutic antibodies. These antibodies have been termed plantibodies because they are synthesized by the plants. Maize plants have been successfully genetically engineered to increase the conversion of its starch to component sugars for use in the production of ethanol as a biofuel. Industrially valuable varieties of starch have also been produced by genetically modifying potatoes. Soybean oils have been modified to increase the oil types used in the detergent industry. Many more such developments are in the pipeline in several laboratories and will be included as commercial applications as soon as clearance is received from the governments. Thus, the transgenesis of plants has led to the development of several useful traits like superior growth characteristics, improved nutritional value and better keeping quality, all of which are very useful for food and nutrition applications. Even though several breakthroughs have been achieved at the laboratory level, only a limited number of the transgenic plants have been cleared for large scale cultivation. Many countries have now started adopting the cultivation of transgenics in large scale. However, the ethical and social issues loom large over the public, and it is very essential that we are aware of such issues. These issues are dealt with in subsequent modules of this paper. Thank you.